All right, what's going on today, YouTube? Welcome back to your favorite cyclist YouTube channel. This week, well, we're not working on bikes. We're working on my good old trusty Bronco here. But before we get into today's video, if you're new to my channel, make sure you head down below, hit that subscribe button for me. If you already are subscribed, make sure you hit that bell icon right next to that. That way you can look forward to watching any cycling content or truck content or whatever content we have on this channel. Big thank you to you guys. Like I said, we're working on the truck today. We're working on my good old 1991 Ford Bronco today. And that's because a company, Wolfwill, sent me out an awesome wiring setup for this. They sent me a wireless wiring setup. Kind of confusing, right? So it's wireless wiring setup. So essentially what it does is it lets you wire up all your wires for your light off-road lights, everything you need to, air pump, whatever you need to, up inside the engine bay to one single location, and then has a wireless control pad that can go inside of the vehicle. That way you control it inside the vehicle without having to run wires into the vehicle. And when they first reached out to me and said they wanted to send this out to me to try it out, I kind of thought, a lot of you guys as cyclists, you're either off-road guys as well, so you have your own off-road vehicle, or you have your own kind of camping setup, your own van camper, whatever you have, or you have your daily driver you want to add lights to, but you don't want to have to run wires into the cab of the vehicle, which is probably the worst part of wiring it all, is trying to figure out a way into the vehicle. So I thought this would be a really great product for you guys. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be installing this whole product on here. So it's going to be a little bit different than some of my other videos. I'm going to be skipping a lot of the manually putting stuff together. Pretty much at the beginning of this video, I'm hoping you know a basic amount of how to crimp and connect wires together. If you do, the system's going to be super easy to set up. You can set it up without cutting anything, without changing anything. You can just wire everything up. In our case, we're going to shorten some wires, make it all nice and pretty. We're going to get a bracket to make it all fit in here. It's going to look really, really good when we're done. So let's skip right over to getting this thing started to get put together. I built them out and painted all that off camera. I did all that before I actually started installing the product. Obviously, that's not the product. The bracket, the bracket's not the product. The product is the product. So let's go take a look. Let's go show you guys how we started getting this thing wired up and show you the finished product in the Bronco here. So this is pretty much what you get in the Wolfwill kit here. So you pretty much get your control panel right here. 8 switches, comes with the mount, super easy to put on. Comes with that. Comes with 2 control boxes right here, which are going to be mounted under the hood of the truck. And then you pretty much get kind of a kit full of wiring and kind of everything you need to wire this guy up, which is kind of nice. So you get pretty much your fuses, connectors, screws, you get a screwdriver, you get 2 sets of power and ground cables because you have 2 boxes, of course, right? So you need 2 sets of those to kind of make that all work. So pretty much what we're going to replace. So if you come over here, we kind of look at the engine bay, you kind of see this mess kind of all up in here. So you can see we got relays kind of tucked in here. We got fuse holders kind of all over the place. Kind of a mess, honestly. This kind of area right here, we want to clean this up some. So what we're going to be doing is essentially I made a bracket yesterday. This guy right here. So kind of made this bracket. So it's going to go essentially kind of right here. So we can get this guy to go where it needs to go. There we go. So yeah, so essentially it's going to go right there is where it's going to go. So it'll live kind of right next to the battery, which actually makes connections really simple and easy. And then the piece, pretty much our control boxes will hang right here behind it. And the way it's set up, it actually touches it actually kind of rests up on the battery some too. So it should be kind of a nice, kind of neat setup. Should hold pretty good is kind of what we're thinking there. So pretty much what we're doing today is we have our bracket now. We got that all fabricated, painted, kind of ready to go. Pretty much what we're going to do is we're going to mount these boxes here onto our bracket here, and we're going to kind of bench wire stuff up together here. So we're going to run our power cable, our ground cables, connect the accessory cables. I'll kind of show you how they look like inside and what needs to be connected to what. Kind of wire the basic stuff up here. That way when we put it in the truck, all we got to hook up is pretty much a main power and ground, and then all of our lights up to the boxes from there. So make it kind of as simple as we can. Work on it here versus in the truck where you can't completely see. So let me open up one of these control boxes. I'll kind of show you what's inside and what's going on through my head right now. Okay, so I got these mounted to the bracket. That way you can kind of see them a little better. I'm going to start kind of getting our spaces down for wiring. So you can see they're exactly the same box. They're dead on the same. Each one has pretty much two 20 amp fuses, two 10 amp fuses. They have 60 amps total for each box. So pretty much took up 4 accessories on each one if you wanted to. So on this side, obviously you can see our big power lugs. So you have a positive and a negative. That's what your big power and negative cables are going to go to. So what you want to do, you want to wire these directly to your battery is what they say. So you have power directly to this. So you have those. Then you have this blue wire in here. And the blue wire, what that's supposed to go to is like a keyed accessory kind of wire. So a lot of vehicles, newer vehicles, you have your fuse box under the hood, and realistically, you're probably mounting this next to your fuse box. So being able to tap into an accessory port, something that has power when the key is in the on position, it's going to be pretty simple to do that. Now, if you're in my case where that really isn't a huge deal, or you're not worried about potentially leaving your lights on and draining your battery, or you want to be able to use the accessories when your key isn't on, you want to wire this directly to your battery as well. So here's my kind of thoughts on this. So if we were to run it kind of the way they want to run it, I would have to run essentially 2 of those on this guy, 2 of those on this guy, run our blue wires directly to the battery. We'd have essentially the same amount of wires we have right now, just bigger wires. So my thought is, if we're running these directly to the battery, why can't I piggyback off of these? So I'm thinking is pretty much running a positive and a ground from here. We're just running them down and around to this box over here, and then running a positive ground from here to the battery from there. Well, positive to the battery, ground to a ground. So that's kind of my thought. We can kind of piggyback, clean up the wiring a little bit. I don't see why it wouldn't work because everything's going straight to the battery anyways. So I think that's what we're going to do. And then with our accessory wire, instead of running that guy all the way to the battery, I'm also just going to run it all internal in this box. Pretty much run it up on top of these fuses, kind of my idea. Run it up on top of here, and again, tie that into that power that's going directly to the battery. That's kind of my thought. That's what I'm thinking we're going to do there. Just got to keep everything as clean as we can. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Then, of course, once we get this mounted, you can flip these guys up, and there's all your terminals for your wires. So pretty much you just need a positive and negative from each of your lights or accessories you're adding to this. So what we're doing today is we're just going to wire the boxes together and kind of get that done, because this we need to do once it's in the actual truck. So we got a little bit to do today. Let me start kind of wiring stuff up, and I'll kind of show you as we kind of move along how it's working together and kind of what's running through my head and how we're going to make this work the best we can, essentially. All right, so we got a bench wired up now, so you can kind of maybe give you a little bit better of an idea between the two. So you essentially have, this is going to be module number 1 is what we're going to use this as. So we have our accessory wire ran right into our positive, of which is going to connect directly to the battery. So shortens that cable up, keeps it inside. Don't got to worry about a different cable outside of the box. Then you have your positive and your ground, both coming from here, and those are both coming right underneath this box. Plenty of room to still get their accessories in there, and then come right under and into the power and ground of what would be module number 2 here. And you can see we did the same thing. Accessory wire runs directly to the positive, and then these two off of our positive and negative here are going to run directly up to a positive negative on the truck. So you can kind of see the basis of the wiring. I feel like it looks cleaner than if you were to run both of these separately. I mean, it just depends on the setup you're looking to run realistically. So we should be able to just kind of get our covers, snap those back on. All right, there we go. So I had to shave like a hair off of the top cover. Just took a sander to it and shaved the hair a little bit off. Now it all fits in there good. It's kind of funky, it's the ground one, but whatever. That's fine. That all works good. Snaps down all the way. And I mean, that looks pretty sweet. That looks pretty sweet. Looks really clean like that. So from there, really our next point is to come over here, mount that guy into the truck, mount it up on its bracket here, and then pretty much pull all of our wiring from our lights and shorten it all. It's kind of what needs to happen here. So we're just going to shorten all the wiring to just positive and ground. We don't need relays, don't need fuses, don't need any of that. So we can get rid of all that, just power and ground, and we should be able to hook that directly into the box. It's kind of the thought, the process behind that. Get rid of essentially this whole mess right here and just keep it kind of nice and neat right up here. So that's been the next process. I have to go pick up my daughter from school though. So we will continue up and pick up this on tomorrow, and we will finish up the installation here and then program, and we should have a from a nice new switch panel ready to go. All right, so we've done a little bit since you guys last saw. So I think last time we were bench wiring kind of the basics here. So kind of wiring the two together, getting the accessories wired, blah, blah, yada, yada, yada. So we got that all wired up. I put it in the truck. We wired our ground and our power wire. So our ground, we kind of just went back where all my grounds used to be, which is behind this bolt, same thing that's mounted to. Good ground right there. And then we wired our power up to our starter solenoid. Again, where everything kind of is pretty much a power distribution block is kind of a basic way to put it. So we got that wired. We got our controllers in here, our pods in here. So those are there. I got one of them wired up there, as you can see. You kind of see it right down there. We got one, that's actually my rock lights wired up. I just want to make sure that we were kind of working on the right path here. So we definitely are. So pretty much once you get these guys installed in your vehicle, pretty much you just got to pair them to your actual controller. So we got our controller right here. And so what pretty much we're going to do is we're going to come to our controller. We're going to hit any two buttons, and that's going to turn our controller on. Then down here, right next to our antenna, it's so hard to see, but right there you are. See that little button right there, the little black button? So that little black button, we're going to come in and push. That's our pair button. So we're going to go ahead and push that button. It's going to turn on. Then we're going to go ahead and hit which side we want that to be on, and it should flash. So now when we hit buttons here, it will turn on. So pretty much we paired that for the second half of this controller. So pretty much what would it be? 5, 6, 7, 8 is what we paired it for. So we turn on 5, 6, 7, 8. All turns on right there. And we just do the same thing with our first box. That one's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. All set right there. Pretty much today we're focused on this half right here. I only have 3 things that we really need to hook up. So we're going to be focused on this half. And the way we're going to be mounting this 5, 6, 7, 8 is actually going to be what's facing up. So that's how it's going to work best for my setup there. And then, like I said, we got our rock lights hooked up. Okay, so this is actually on 6. We hit 6. There's our rock lights, turn on and off. Super easy. Everything is included in there. You don't need anything else to go with it. So I mean, this was my old harness right here. It's pretty much this red and black here. Those went to the lights themselves, went into the harnesses. So power, ground, obviously there were 2 strands going down there. And then you had your relay and then your switch that goes all the way into the cab of the truck. And then this was your power and ground right there with your fuse. So essentially we can get rid of all of this. It just goes away. We don't need any of that. Pretty much we have 2 more to go. So we have, let's see, this one here is our front lights right here. So this is our front lights, these guys right there. And then we have this one here, right here. This is our cowl lights, or ditch lights right there. So I'm going to try to keep going. So pretty much what we're doing is you come to these. Obviously, these are all disconnected. We disconnected the power and ground, so there's no power or anything going to these. Pretty much what we have to do is find our 2 outputs, which are going to be those right there, the 2 down there, which in this case they have 2. I don't know. We'll see if this one has 2 or not. This is kind of a different harness than this one, at least for this harness. So pretty much we're going to snip those off, and then we get the connectors that they include in the kit. Again, everything's included. So blue, blue, red, red. Pretty basic right there. I'm using red for power, blue for ground, just to keep things making sense. And we just cut them, strip them, put those on, and then slip them right into the slots we want to put them in. Make sure positive on positive, negatives on negative. And that's all you got to do. It is super simple to install this guy. Super simple. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the next one, install that. We'll test it, see if it works. And then we'll do the last harness and see if that one's any different than these first 2 I did. I have no idea what's in that one. So let's get to work. All right, so we got our next one lined up, wired up there. So we got pretty much this far one here. This is going to be our front lights. So we got that one wired up. I did move the fuses around. So this was a 20 amp, so I left a 20 amp here. These are actually halogen lights. So the 20 amp, probably what I want for those. Then I switched these 2, which should work fine. The box is rated for 60 amps. So pretty much you got 2 20s, so 20, 40, and then 2 10s. So 50, 60. So you have 60 amps total for the box. So pretty much got those. So I switched these 2. Pretty much my rock lights, there's 4 lights instead of 2. They're still, I believe, well under 10 amps, but it makes me feel happier, feel better, you know, that they're there. So you can see we got them wired up in there, nice and secured. And if we go ahead, grab our remote, grab our controller, and hit the button, and boop, on go our front lights. Super nice. And you can turn on two at the same time, so we can turn our rock lights down there all at the same time without really affecting anything. Cool. All right, so we got one more to do. Let me pop open that harness. Let me see what the wiring looks like for that one. All right, so I pulled my last harness apart. Again, these are just like pre-bought harnesses. So this is the one that's different than the other ones. This is pretty much as simple as it's going to be. There is one positive, one negative. Pretty much look at our label down here, and pretty much we're going for this slot right here. So positive on the left, negative on the right, just like these guys are. There's two screws underneath this cover that you can, let's see if we can get you down there so you can see. Two screws, you just screw them right on in there. These two guys are right there, and then tighten them up, and we should be good to test those guys out. Pretty simple. This one's the simplest one of all of them. Not even having to deal with two sets of wires, just one set of wires. Then once we hook those up, test them, then it's trying to get rid of all this stuff out of the car, and we'll go and get the controller all mounted in the truck and make sure everything works good. All right, so we got our last one wired up down there. So that should be these guys right up here. So let's go ahead and turn our controller on, and it should be the second one right here. Whoop, there's one side. And there's two sides. Heck yeah. Okay. So now we have all three hooked up. So let's see if we can get all three to work at the same time. So there's our front lights. There's our ditch lights. And there's our rock lights. All on one controller. So yeah, those are there. We'll put stickers on them now that we know where we're putting them. Heck yeah. That's cool. All right. That looks sick. So we just need to put that cover back on. So this cover here just needs to go snap on and make sure our little thing is down. There we go. So once that's down, we just gotta make sure our cover goes on. So you can see there is a hole right there. So that's for this little tiny screw to go through. And then I'll make sure that cover stays on, doesn't pop off, which we're definitely gonna do. Okay, so it's sticker time. So we have 140 stickers to pick from and see what we have that's kind of matches what we have going on. I don't think anything on that one. I think they're probably going to be on here. So let's see. Because we have driving lights. Those would be good for the front ones. Bumper lights would be good too, honestly, though. Let's see here. Oh, we got some hood or windshield. Okay, those might work. Is there a rock light or something? Ooh, rock lights right there. Perfect. Okay, so I think we're going to go rock lights. Let's go. There's our hood. We'll go hood. Rock lights, hood. And let's go driving lights for the front ones. Okay. So we just got to peel these off. I would wipe this down with a little bit of wax. Grease remover here. Just to make sure if there was grease or anything on them, it's gone now. That way these stickers stick for a long time. So let's see how these guys stick on here. All right, so inside the truck, so we can kind of mount our switches wherever we want. So you can see you got the stickers on there. It's pretty cool. So our current stickers or current switches are right here. I mean, you could, but it would look kind of funky. I mean, you'd have to like twist this around and kind of like whoop. It doesn't look quite right. I mean, it would be sticking out quite a bit, and I think the shifter would actually hit it. So that's not going to work. So I was kind of looking where I had some space, and I went, oh, hey, I have this big chunk of nothing right here. So I kind of held this up. I kind of slid it up to where it looked pretty good. And I went, that actually looks pretty decent right there. Just right there. So we're going to mount it right here. This is a console out of an Expedition. And so I've already kind of mounted stuff on it. And I got my CB radio, my fire extinguisher, stuff like that. So I'm honestly just going to think this piece just comes off with one bolt. So we're just going to take this off. I'm going to drill those holes out, and we're going to mount it with some bolts. Everything comes with screws. It's just vibrations and everything. I'd rather have bolts, especially in something like this. So we're going to mount some bolts through here and mount that up, and then we can snap this thing back down, and we should be good to go. After that, should be all set. All right, so finished product here. So we got those lids screwed on, nice and attached up to our bracket there. We got our wiring coming nice and neat down the bottom there. Got it kind of zip tied up, so it's all kind of out of the way. Where we had all of our relays and fuses and all that, looks all clean now. All you have is just one big one power wire, one ground wire over there, nice and clean. That, nothing kind of jammed up down under here. Like way nicer. And then if we come inside, just hop inside here, and boom, there we go. So you can see where my old switches were, right there. We'll figure something out here. Cover them up, maybe fill them in or something, fill them with some plastic or some fiberglass or something like that. We'll get to that in the future. Soon, coming soon. So for now, that's just how it's gonna be. It's okay, we can figure that out. For now, look at that guy. Woo! It's right here. You push the two buttons, boom, turn the whole control panel on. Then you have like your driving lights on the front, hood lights, and then you got rock lights underneath. These guys, more coming soon. Cool. And then we just shut it off. We just two button it, and off it goes. So that's pretty cool. So this guy it is capable of running up to 3 switch panels. So I first thought, I was like, okay, how does that work? Because there's only 8 buttons and 4 for each panel. How does that work? So essentially you can program a third one into this setup. So I have a third box. We're just going to kind of wire it in temporary, so we can actually show you guys how that works. But we'll see how that works and see if we can get pretty much 2 to turn on versus just 1. Okay, so they did supply me with 3 panels. So pretty much you can actually hook 3 panels up to every 4 switches. So pretty much the first 4 switches you can hook 3 panels to. Second 4 switches you can hook 3 panels to. So you can have 6 total panels connected to each other. So there's 6 of these little boxes here, connected all to each other. So activating the same thing. That's kind of the only downfall to that is if you hook them up to here all together, they all have to kind of do the same thing, or you want them all to turn on at the same time. So I mean, one instance would be exterior lighting. You have a bunch of exterior lights, or you have 3 sets of exterior lights that you want to wire up on one switch. So in my case, if I wanted to turn on like my front lights and my ditch lights up there, and let's say my rock lights, I could wire one into each panel on the first slot, push the button, and it could turn on all those lights all at once with one single switch. So there are cases for it. I don't have a case for that right now. So I kind of have this third panel, just kind of very temporary setup here, just to kind of showcase how this works. So what we can do is we're going to pair this guy just like our other switches. And what we're going to do, we're going to pair this box to our box with our lights on here. That way you should be able to see our lights turn on and a light turn on here, showing that they activate at the same time. So let me go hit the pair button. Let's get these guys paired. All right, switch panels on. Push our pair button. Run inside. Go, and we'll pair it right there. Okay, so now, all right, there we go. It was a little slow, but we got it there. So you can see the lights on here for this panel here, which is also my hood lights on this panel right here. So this panel here has my hood lights on. This panel is connected, and that panel connected to the exact same switch. So if we go inside the truck, you can see hood lights are on. Turn that off. Let's put our driving lights on. Come on up here. Driving lights are on. And whatever would be on that outfit would be the same. That outlet would be on as well. So you can pair 3 of these guys up all together. So you can pair them up if you need to, if you want to do that, if you have some situation where you want to be able to run multiple things. Like I said, exterior lighting. You don't have to run them all to one single circuit. You run some to this one, some to that one, and that way you're not exceeding the amp cap for each singular box. So you can kind of do whatever fits your situation the best. Like I said, you got like 140 stickers in here. So whatever you want to use this for, you can make it work. They have stuff for, off-road stuff, AUTV stuff. They have boat stuff. They have zombies. They have They have all sorts of things here: shower, boat, sonar, fish box. Yeah, I mean, you could use these boxes for pretty much anything you want to and set them up however you want to set them up. Don't set them up like this one. This is temporary, like this, nice and clean and looking. So you set them up however you want to set them up. They work really, really great. So I really like the setup from the guys over at Wolfwill. It's just clean. Honestly, the suckiest part of running wires is, and wiring stuff for your truck, is trying to run them into the cab. Something that's just a pain. You have to find a grommet or find a hole. And I had found a hole, and I've slowly had to make it slightly bigger and bigger and bigger, everything I have. So it's so nice to be able to not have any wires running the control panel. There's nothing going inside. Everything is just right here. That's it. It runs from right here to the lights or to wherever we're running. Lets me expand to whatever I'm looking to expand to on here, and just cleans up this area so much, because that's a lot of area that, you know, more future activities can happen right there. So got some plans, but this is a great setup. Whether you have an off-road vehicle, whether you just want to add lights to your daily driver, you have a boat, you have an ATV, UTV, whatever that is, you want to add stuff to there and wire stuff in the easiest way you can, you want one of these boxes. So you can buy the full kit, which is what this full thing is. I pretty much is set up in my truck. This has the 2 boxes up here, switch panel, and the stickers. Essentially what comes in that full kit. You can buy the single boxes by themselves, so you can expand on from there. So that's kind of where I'm looking at right now. I have the 2 boxes. If I want to expand on further, they nicely sent me a 3rd one, so I can demonstrate it all. I'll show you that, hook up to multiple things, but you can expand later on. It's kind of the nice thing with this. So I'm looking forward to using these. You can mount them however you want. Obviously, we went for pretty much the vertical mount versus the horizontal mount. I think the vertical mount's going to work better in this case. I'd rather have the water be able to drain out than just be stuck in there. If there's any water that gets stuck in there, you know, it depends on the space you have. I have space that way, is where I had space. So that's how it worked for me. But I am very happy with that setup. If you guys want to do this to your own vehicle, there's going to be a link in the description down below. Check them out. Awesome company. Super great product, super quality. Like I said, everything so far, everything I put together with this was great quality. I don't think I complained about a single thing being meh. So check it out. Link in the description down below. Big thanks to Wolfwill again. If you guys enjoyed the video, give this video a big thumbs up. Appreciate the support. If you have any comments or questions, let me know down in the comment section below. Love talking to you guys. Love answering questions you guys have. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching today.